Hey guys, Catfish here at Perdido, Florida. So we've got here this Tuesday, and we've been here for a couple days now. We've been just kind of exploring Florida and its beautifulness here in Perdido Key. We are staying at a hotel they have here, and I was just wanting to make a live since the last thing we did was that catfish slim line thing, and that was a little bit ago. And we are making we're going to post the second part of that, which will be the cooking one, where we make beer batter catfish and some other stuff. We'll show you how to make. That'll be after we're done because we're trying to relax here, and we're just gonna wait for a couple people to join on, so everybody can see us because I want everybody to be able to see this because there's a lot of interesting stuff we've done this week, and I wanted to talk about some stuff. We've been to some cool places, some restaurants and stuff, and this battleship we went to. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Hello, Basic Mom. Thank you for joining. As you can see, the ocean and the beach behind me is really nice. I think we're going to be doing some crab hunt tonight, which will be fun. I can talk more about that in a minute. So I see we got 3 people on there. Thank you, Anita, for joining. We've got 4 now. That's good. And I'm going to say it again, we are here in Perdido Key, Florida. This is the Gulf, by the way, if you were wondering. And it's actually kind of rough right now. It's usually pretty much calmer, and the wind's kind of up right now. So if it's a little bit bad, can't really hear me that good, I'm sorry. But I know it might be a little blurry. But anyway, besides those technical difficulties, I've got a lot of cool stuff I want to share with y'all. I'm going to wait a little bit until some more people get on here so I can start sharing all this with you. Oh, hey, there's Haley and Adam. Thank you for joining. Oh, yeah. It does. It's really pretty here, Haley. It's been really pretty these past couple days. It's not been too rainy. The sun's been out. It's been really nice. Yeah, it is great weather. And see, I even brought my Catfish culture here with me to the beach. I didn't plan on doing this, but I'm glad I brought it anyway. Well, I'm going to start talking about some stuff. One thing we're planning on doing tonight is some crab hunting. Crab hunting is something I learned about when I was pretty young. I've done it for a long time. So basically, whenever you go to the beach or anywhere, you will just go out a little bit after dark is pretty good, and you will need a flashlight, and you can bring shovels and nets and buckets if you want to. But what we do is we'll go out, we'll get flashlights. I do have this headband thing, it's got a light on it. That's really helpful, but normal flashlight works just as good. And we'll go out there, and what you'll do is you'll just look along, see, and scan it with a flashlight. And if you see something move or listen a little bit, you'll go after it. And I kind of like to do it barehanded because you can get bare hands on. I have caught some pretty big crabs, like the blue crab once. Not quite big enough to, fry up or nothing, which I would like to try that. But it was pretty decent size. And, there's a lot of these little crabs. The ghost crabs are real hard to catch. And it's really fun, honestly, because one thing you can do is you can collect the ton, put them in a bucket, and you can make them do little fights. Yeah, it is pretty fun, yes. Yeah. And you can find crabs about any beach, too, so you don't have to go anywhere special. And during the day, you can just see these little holes in the beach, just like tiny little holes. That's a crab hole, most likely. And if it's really tiny, like not even that big, it ain't a really small crab. It's just the sands come down on it a little bit. But at night, if you see those little holes, you can get shovels and try to dig it up, or you can put your hand in the thing. I might break it though. But if you put a shovel in, you can get one up and put them in a little bucket. We've had some accidentally get in our car before and took them home. They didn't make it, sadly. But I heard crabs are pretty cool little pets, like hermit crabs and stuff. I've never actually caught a hermit crab out here before. They're more aquatic things. Yeah, it is pretty cool. I've done it a lot, like I said, so I won't call myself an expert, but I would at the same time. Okay, so I'm now going to start talking about kind of what we did this week. So we got here Tuesday, and we went to. I'm going to talk about some of the restaurants. We went to this restaurant called the Crab Shack or Crab Trap, I believe it was called, and they had some decent calamari there. We went there and I got some of that. It was pretty good. They also they also have this sorry. I also have this place called The Point. We went there today. It's fantastic. It's a little place, but it's got really good food. It's just great. We weren't planning on going to Floribama, but we were going to go to this place because it's such a good place. Floribama, it looks awesome, but not the best food. But this Point, it has great food. I actually got this seafood combo. It was it was or it was lemon fried shrimp, and I also got some mullet, which I never tried before. Adam told me it was really good, and I got some. I liked it pretty good. Tasted about like some catfish. I mean, some bluegill from home. We had some of the calamari we had from this place called, I think it was the Fish Camp. It tasted about like catfish we made, the beer bag catfish. You'll see a video for that, or at least I thought, or at least it looked like it. That's what I thought. Anyway, so I'm gonna start talking about the. Oh yes, we did eat some oysters. Yeah, I tried one. It was a raw one. We had some of the other people with me had some fried oysters, and yeah, it was pretty good. We got some crackers and hot sauce, and yeah, it makes it real good. And also, I'm going to start talking about the battleship now. So we went to Alabama, which is where the USS Alabama is located. It's a walk through. You can walk through the battleship, tour it, kind of, and it's got some different levels, like yellow level, green, red, yellow level. It's really cool. And there's also the submarine beside it. It's called the USS Drum, and it's they're both together, and it's this little. I don't know what you really call it, but it's this place you can tour both of them, and there's this building and you can walk through. It has many cool helicopters, cars, everything, and it has this one helicopter which I thought was interesting. No, we didn't have any lobster, Haley. Anyway, it has these really cool helicopter in there. It carried Reagan, Bush, and I think some other presidents too. It's a very cool. Thank you, Adam, for cleaning that. Anyway, it has this. It's carried quite a few cool presidents. Reagan's honestly my favorite one. He was actually a movie star when he was younger. Anyway, let's get back on subject. It's got all this kind of stuff, and outside also has tanks, planes lined up. But the U.S. Alabama was sent in to the Japanese islands over there in the, I think, the Pacific. Yeah, and it was a major part of the war. It didn't take much damage. It's in very good shape, and it's just really cool. It's so big. It has so many different floors. It has these cannons, which if they were all fired in the same direction, it would knock the ship back. And if you look up how big the ship is, you'll understand how crazy that is. And it's just amazing the size of it. And submarine and the battleship. Submarine's obviously a little smaller, but it's also very cool because it's so compact. So you think you feel squeezed in there and so hot when you're above water, but when you're below water, think what that would be like. Anyway, and also on the battleship, I'm just going to name a couple things I thought were cool. The battleships would go through different kind of paints, like they have their paint chase depending on where they're going and like certain missions. The U.S. Alabama had all gray ones to make it, camouflage really, and it was all blue ones so that planes flying over couldn't see it well. And then once it was gray and then blue, so battleships from distance couldn't see as well. Yes, we did see a spy plane. It was pretty cool there. We also seen this big bomber plane. It was super cool. I'd say it's about as long as the submarine. It was cool. And yeah, I couldn't imagine being on a submarine for a long time either. Anyway, so the U.S. Alabama also had this thing where if there was a captain, or I think this might have been the submarine. Was it the submarine or it had a thing where it was the ship, the battleship, and it had this a little thing on top. It said if a captain or an officer went up, they would have to do this little thing so they know that officer captain went up there. Because they have a little bit more superiority over a private or something. So they would want to know if they're up there. and see where they're at and make sure they're not up there. Just to make sure they're okay. And another thing about the battleship I thought was cool is just the size, like how much room it has in it. It looks big on the inside, but then it's way bigger or it looks big on the outside, but it seems way bigger on the inside. You can't tour the whole thing that somebody serving on it could because they blocked off certain areas or they're setting up new areas. And they have all these cool monuments in there. They have this one scuba room where people have to go in scuba suits off the side and fix stuff. Okay, some of the rooms that are in the ship, some of the rooms that are in there they had a lot of officers' rooms. And the cool thing about the privates, or where the privates would sleep, is they just had these beds about that thick, made of like tarp material, and they had to sleep on that. And they could fit about 15 in like not that big of a room. Like, how big a room do you think they fit 15 in? Not that big. Like what room you sleep in your house? They probably put about 10 rooms in there, 10 little beds for people to sleep in. That's how cramped it was in there. It was pretty crazy. And there's a smoking room they had for officers to be able to smoke. And one thing, if you were on the submarine, you would have to go up to smoke most of the time. So you wouldn't want to be left up there. So that would be bad. So anybody that would smoke, you have to be pretty brave to go up there and smoke because you might get left up there. And it's a pretty far swim probably from any kind of land. They might forget you, That's, if you were a smoker, that'd be pretty bad if you served on a submarine. Anyway, so the battleship again. It's actually got some of the guns mounted, and they don't move, of course, or anything. I'm sorry if that was a little glitchy, but you can actually hold on to the handles and the seats that people in World War II shot at Japanese aircrafts or whoever, and it's pretty cool there. And there's also you can actually go into some of the cannons. It's really cool, and you can see like kind of how they operated, like how the shells would be let up here. They also have this room kind of deep in it. It's where they stored all these shells. It's this round room. It's got shells just all along it. And a cool part that they installed, I believe, is this button. It's got shells. These are not live, of course. It can lift it up and take it back down if you hit a button. Just act like you're doing that. Oh, hey, Cody. Thank you for joining. Anyway, the ship, sorry. They would have all these. Another thing I thought was cool, just in the hallways, there's this one hallway. It's probably 15 foot long, just full of rifle racks. Just rifle rack, rifle rack, rifle rack, rifle rack. And they could probably fit about 30 rifles in there. It was pretty cool. And the engine room, it's enormous. Like the propellers on the ship, they have one of those on the outside. It's enormous. It's bigger than this balcony. It's a lot bigger than this balcony. It's probably twice the size of this balcony, honestly. This balcony ain't that big either, though. But anyway, just thinking, like I said earlier, being able to move that ship with the guns if they're all shot, it's kind of crazy. You think about how much horsepower, or how much power that would take, And I just think that's very, very cool. I don't know. Have any of you actually been on a battleship before? I know I only got 6 people on here right now, but I would like to know if any of you've actually been on the Alabama either. That'd be cool. Well, they were pretty big. I could probably fit one beside one of them, honestly. About 100 pounds, probably. 2,700, actually. Sorry. Yeah, they were bigger than me. Megan, you've been one in Charleston. That's pretty cool. Where exactly is Charleston? Where is it? North Carolina. That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure. Do you remember the name of it? Oh. And I see Anita's been on one too. Is it in Charleston too, or did you go to a different one? Okay, I'm gonna let them reply, and we can talk about. I see we got another person watching 7. That's pretty good. Thank you for joining. If you haven't heard, we're on Perdido Key here, and I've been talking about what we've been eating, the ship. You'll be able to see this after we're done, anyway. But that's just a little recap. Oh, they left. Never mind. Oh, they're back. Yay. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so Megan, it says it was huge and had tons of planes on. That probably meant it was an aircraft carrier. And Anita was on one in Virginia Beach, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty far from here. So they have, I guess they have all battleships all scattered out through here, and I think that's pretty cool going to visit them and stuff. And another thing, I forgot about this on the battleship is that sorry, was it? Oh yes, the anchors on the battleship, they were massive. The anchors, you've seen those big anchors that you've seen them at the bottom of the sea sunk in. These were like 3 times bigger than that, and it was just crazy. And you wouldn't think that would be able to stop that ship either from moving, because they're big, but that ship's really, really big. So that's pretty crazy. I think it's pretty crazy. And well, I think that's everything about the battleship I can memorize now. I might think of something in a minute. We can go back to the submarine, or actually, I want to talk about something else. Today we went to the National Wildlife Park in Perdido Key, which is also where my mother and stepfather were married at. And we went there. We paid an admission fee, and we went out off into the beach. Sorry about the camera, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Anyway, we went to the beach and walked along that, which is the same beach they got married on, and it was pretty crowded, so we didn't stay very long. It was very cool. Okay, Cody, we were on the USS Alabama. We also went on to the USS Drum, which is a submarine, and the Alabama is a battleship. And the submarine, you can tour both of them. It's got many different levels, and you'll be able to see more about this when it's done. Anyway, I want to talk about that wildlife place. When we went there, it was a really beautiful spot. The sand looks white as snow almost. It's very, very clean there. Yeah, yeah. That we went to the Alabama and the Drum, and you'll be able to see more about that. Okay, so the place there. We went there and we walked along the beach. The water there is super beautiful too. It's just a really nice place. It might cost you a little bit to get in there, but it's really beautiful. It's really nice if you don't go on a crowded day because you can set up a little umbrella and just sit out there. Yeah, it was a beautiful way, and you can't really change much to it. It's the national seashore. There's a lot of wildlife in there, but you can go out on there and walk around a little bit. Sorry, my eyes big for sure. Anyway, you can walk out on there, and it's a great view. And Tennessee, which is yeah, we got to see barracks. Yeah, they were pretty cool. It's just all beds, no room for nothing else really. Just 15 beds in a room, no bigger than it's your bedroom. Probably 15 beds in your bedroom. Think how big your bedroom is. 15 beds. And they were about that thick, like I said earlier, not like tarp material. Yeah, and I would think if you wake up, you sit up in the morning, you're gonna hit your head on the top. You slept in some. That's cool. That's it. And this also reminded me about hitting your head on the battleship. They have these ladders. When it was before, it was a little bit changed so that it could be toured. It had ladders that were straight, climb up like this. Yeah. Oh, and also another thing about the wildlife place, like after a hurricane hit it and messed some stuff up, and also like the battleship. You could climb up, like a normal ladder. Now they got these vertical ladders so that smaller children will be able to come up there and. Anyway, but when you're climbing up the ladders like that or like that, you would climb up it like a normal ladder, like that, or step it like that. When you come down, what they would do, they would hold on to it like this and step down like that, like kind of slide down. That'd make it a lot faster than going down like that. Because it's kind of a gap between the steps. My little brother was a little bit scared going through them because it's a pretty big gap. Anyway, they have these little cushions set up on the top, so if you're walking up there, don't pay attention, you don't hit your head, which that would hurt because you know it's all metal, so that would hurt pretty bad, and you probably have to be escorted. So they don't want to have any concussions on there or anything. So okay, so I think I've talked about all the stuff we're gonna do. I might do a video on crab hunting tonight, and I hope you'll stay. See, it's getting dark. We'll probably go crab hunting just a couple minutes after this. And I want to thank y'all for watching. And I hope you watch our crab hunting video if we do one, and our limb lining, catch, clean, cook, the cooking part of it after we get back, which today is our last full day. So that won't be too long. And I want to thank you for listening. This has kind of been long, 21 minutes, but it's been, interesting the whole way through, I hope. And we'll see you on the next one. Yeah.